Woohoo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Malty Monday. Tonight, the panel and myself are going to be looking at the cream ale. So let's say hello to the panel that we have right now. We have Whiskey Scout.
Hello.
We have Beer Man.
Hey.
Michael Gormroth.
Hello.
And Thomas Metals 75.
Hello, people.
And myself, Bumpy Road. Cheers to the chat. I got to get this into the chat, actually, the StreamYard thing, because Nina is in the chat, and if she wants to join, she can go ahead and grab that. John and Nelly, cheers to you.
Yep.
No cream ale.
You can't find these Monday beer styles there, huh, John?
Man,
John, just go get an ale and cream in it. And you'll have a cream ale.
looks like we're gonna have to do. Looks like we're gonna have to do Imperial Stouts again.
No.
Well, thank you to the chat for being here. Thanks to the panel. I'm going to go ahead and read what the BJCP guidelines from 2008, because this is the best I could find. The 2015 ones were, they didn't have any history. I think this has a little bit of something in it anyways. But it says, overall impression, a clean, well-attenuated, flavorful American lawnmower beer. The comments on it. Classic American. For an example, pre-prohibition, cream ales were slightly stronger, hoppier, including some dry hopping, and more bitter, around 25 to 30 IBUs. These versions should be entered in the specialty experimental category. Most commercial examples, I guess that's for today, are, well, it's in the 1050 to 1053 OG range. So you're looking at anywhere from like a 4.2 to 5.6 ABV range, and they usually are no more bitter than 20 IBUs. The history: an ale version of the American lager style, produced by ale brewers to compete with lager brewers in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. Originally known as sparkling or present use ales, lager strains were, and sometimes still are, used by some brewers, but were not historically mixed with ale strains. Many examples are Krausen to achieve carbonation. Cold conditioning isn't traditional, although modern brewers sometimes use it. So that's the cream ale. So we're gonna. Whoa! What did I just do? I almost canceled out the whole thing. Let's not do that. All right. So we got Whiskey Scout. You're right there. If I'll present you, can you show what you brought?
Genesee cream ale, 5.2% alcohol by volume. And I can't figure out none of the numbers on it. They're too vast for me to understand what they mean, whether it lists a date or not. But I have not. This is the first time I've ever had it. I've had it before, but I've never had it in bottles. And I found bottles at a store Sunday in Wichita, and I just bought it. Wasn't the only six-pack they had. They had several stacked in there. So, I'm trying to do a crazy pour here. Gotta go slow and easy. You can hear it effervesce big time. I mean, but it doesn't linger. The effervescence really kind of dissipates rather quickly as it forms ahead. I mean, there's some, but it's not like you'd expect at all. You want me to go ahead and talk about it, or you want to?
Yeah, go ahead and talk right about it.
It has a lot of similarities to an adjunct lager in the nose. I mean, it's honestly, it doesn't have a lot of. It's very. I know it's not a lager, but it comes across a lot as a lager. The head's already dissipated rather quickly, in fact. But I mean, it smells. Oh God, I don't know how to say this other than to say it smells like a damn beer.
Got that beer smell.
It's got a little slight hoppiness to it. There's a little yeastiness in there, but it's mostly just that plain beer smell. It's nothing special. It's nothing. I've had it before. I enjoy it. It's light. It's crisp. It's refreshing. I can tell you that long before I go into it.
Cheers.
Cheers, Robert. Cheers.
A light maltiness to it. Again, crisp. And the yeast in it, it's like a dull yeasty note. It's the best way I know how to describe it. It's not like some of the yeast strains that give citrus notes or anything like that. It's nothing like that. Very drying on the palate for me. It's just a good beer to sit outside and drink.
Yeah.
I mean, that's most people. This is probably the cream ale they've had that I'm aware of, or this or Little Kings, as we discussed earlier. And these are the only two cream ales I've ever had. So, anyway, I just can't expound more than that. I'm at a loss for words. I read one place where they said it's a ale that drinks like a lager, and in a lot of ways, it does.
Yeah.
It comes across that way.
And if they're going for that too, like I kind of read where some do use lager yeast to brew the cream ales, but those that don't, I'm thinking because they were going up against the lagers and stuff of the day, they're probably using like an American ale yeast, just a very like plain Jane yeast. It's not going to give off too many other notes. They probably want the nice crisp, clean flavor. So
now, the one thing this does give me over a lager is it gives me more body. There's a lot less body in most of your adjunct, like Budweiser, Coors, and all them. This has more body. It has more depth to it. Does it have a lot of flavor that goes along with it? Not really, per se. But again, there's no negative flavors here. There's no awkward or strange flavors there. It's just a good, solid beer.
Good session beer.
Yeah, that's a good. Yes, you're right, Beer Man. That's a way to put it.
and with that, we're going to go over to Beer Man in his session fan.
All right. Yeah. I'm a tiny fan. Well, thanks, BuMpy. I appreciate you letting me be on here. It's always fun. So this is one from local area. It's across the bridge. They just opened about 5 years ago or so, 4 years. It's a cream ale of theirs. All their labels look the same. It just has a different name. This is kind of at the higher. It's probably pushing it a bit on the scope, but BJCP scope, but it's a 5.7 with 19 IBUs, so it's kind of the higher range. I've had this before. It's pretty good, but definitely want to taste it with y'all. So let's do it. It is a fresh beer. It's about a month old. I'm just gonna put it in my little Pilsner glass here. It's not there. So it's definitely has a nice, brilliant clarity to it, in my opinion. Slightly dull, though. I don't know if it's brilliant, just clear. Very effervescent, 2-finger head, white head, very creamy, nice looking smell. You get that kind of like a grainy corn notes and fresh corn. Corn's like a big thing in this. The bready, like white bread, graininess or cereal or something like that coming out of it. No hops, not too floral, just kind of plain Jane. Let's go for the drink.
Cheers.
Cheers. Beer.
Carbonation's high on the top, on the tip of the tongue right there. Kind of pushes back into a nice smooth feel. It does have that corny, grainy feel up on the palate. You're getting it a lot. You're getting more of the bitter notes going on the soft palate. Towards the back of the throat, it starts to dry off, which is nice. It's a faster finish. That cereal really comes out. It kind of has like like you're chewing on Cheerios or something. You know, like a grainy, gritty cereal like flavor. Corn is definitely dominant in this. It does smooth out very nicely in the back, though. It's very, very appealing. It's a good drinker. Definitely, if you're not like the DMS or the like the creamed corn kind of feel, you don't really get that. You do kind of get a pinch in this, though. There is a slight pinch of cream corn. It is kind of, and I think that's tolerable in this, a small amount of it. So it's I do get that. It is a crisp mouthfeel, very, very nice and fine and crisp. Body's really light, and just a very, very appealing beer for this style. It's not bad, so I'm very happy. Cheers, guys. This is good.
Sure.
Cheers.
Thank you, Beer Man.
Cheers.
And then from New York, got Mr. Kormaroff.
Okay, the head has subsided. It started out really probably about there, and now it's still holding up a little bit. It's an off-white head, and the beer has a little bit of a chill haze on it. But I look through the light, and it's mostly clear, so it's not like you wouldn't call this cloudy. You wouldn't say it's hazy. But I think it's a little. It was in the refrigerator right before I came out, so still has a little bit of chill on it. The head, like I said, is off-white. You're getting still very nice lacing on the side. Let me give it a nose.
Did you show the can?
Here, let me
What
show
it is?
it. I did not show it, but I will. Sweet Action from 6 Point. Let me show it straight so you can see it. Has a 6.5 sided star. Let me get the nose on it. Okay, the nose is interesting. I'm getting the same kind of cereal grains that they've gotten so far, but it's almost like it has some hop action with it. And 6 Point always seems to do things like this. So you're getting the cereal grain, but you're getting the hops kind of together. So I would almost call this like a hybrid cream ale kind of thing, because I don't think that for the most part that you would have this much hop action in a cream ale. To the taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
It's you don't get any of the cereal grain on the taste. It's actually, to me, tasting more like a pale ale than a cream ale, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Again, could it be a hybrid cream ale? I don't know. I guess you'd have to determine your thing. It's not as hoppy as most of the cream ales we're used to, though. So it's lower end. I don't know what the IBUs are on it, but I probably could find out.
Yeah, I think they do fall under like a hybrid category type deal with the cream ale. So.
But it's really good in that it's
Specialty.
it's extremely drinkable. There's a creamy feel to it as well, and like I said, you could smell the cereal a little bit in the nose. It's really not in the taste. Very drinkable. It's only 5%, so I guess it should be drinkable. It's very session. And I would recommend this for somebody who wants to try a craft cream ale versus what Robert has. In other words, if you're getting Genesee, this would be a chance to try a craft. And I think it is hybrid-like. So this is not what you call your classic cream ale.
Are you getting any of like a corn or any like of that flavor in the beer?
I am not, but I did. But in the nose, it was a little bit there, but it's not in the it's not in the taste.
Gotcha.
And it was mild in the nose. It wasn't something that you would say, "Hey, boy, this is cereal," whatever. Maybe because the first two people mentioned it, I was thinking it when I smelled it. You know, how the power of suggestion sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you did that to me, Michael, on the or what beer was that? The Blanc.
Right. That was
yeah.
I remember.
You mentioned, I get peach, and as soon as you said that, all I could smell was peach.
So it can be the power suggestion. when we did that one again at my last one we did on Thursday, and people didn't get the peach at first. And when I mentioned it, the other two people who were trying it thought they did get the peach.
Yeah. See, I was thinking it was more like an orange, like type smell. But yeah, definitely after you said peach, it's like, yeah, I guess it is more peachy than orange. So yeah,
I would recommend this beer if you haven't tried it and you can get 6 Point. This was one of its original 4 beers. It's possible it's been reformulated. This may not, because they opened as a brewery in 2004. So this beer could be a little different than the original Sweet Action they made. But it was one of the first 4 beers that they commercially had, in 16-ounce cans. Now they're down to 12-ounce cans.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Very nice. Cool.
So,
Before we do go over to Thomas Metal, I do want to say, hey, we can say hi to Nina.
Hi, Nino.
Hello, everyone.
She's been in here for a minute, so so we'll get to that. She in the private there, she said kind of what beer it was there for you, Michael.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Sweet.
All right, Thomas, you ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hear about that cream ale there, because that one sounds good.
Uh-oh, we lost Nina.
Nina, get back here. Well, we're gonna hear from you next. Yeah, mine is the Shoveltown Brewery. They're in northeastern Massachusetts. The town of Easton is known for shovel making, so Shoveltown. And this is their Madagascar Vanilla Cream Ale. That does say 5% ABV, and that does say 18 IBUs. Let's see here. Our signature cream ale, delicately brewed with all natural vanilla and aged on American white oak, where the natural vanilla flavors on the wood contribute to this well-rounded light ale. The 4-pack was like $16.99, I believe, and there was a sticker on the top of it which said the 28th of May 2020. So they're still doing some brewing right now. You can go there and pick up the beer. I'm using their tulip glass because, not the bright glass for this kind of beer, but wanted to represent the brand. It did have a bigger head up to where the lacing ended up here, but not much to speak of. And kind of like with the Genesee Cream Ale, not a bunch of carbonation, maybe a little bit more, but not much more. And this one is got some little, it has really small sediment in there, so it's not completely see-through, but it is pretty clear for the most part, and it's got a amber color, a little bit copper color, definitely lighter than Vienna Lager, but definitely darker than like the Genesee Cream Ale, and a pinky's worth of white head. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're brewing in this one, but I have no confidence that they're doing anything conventional with the cream ale, with using corn or maize or anything like that. It definitely has all of the vanilla, all of this caramel toffee sweetness to it. There is a little bit of a graininess to it. There is a little bit of like a grassy kind of a hopping to it, but nothing too much. It's pretty sweet for what it is. Brown bread, I would say, like almost like a toasty brown bread, and kind of like the bourbon wood white oak thing, but that's about it. I've had Genesee beer too many times to count, and it smells nothing like that one. So the craft beer version. Cheers.
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 Yeah, when I think cream ale, I'm not thinking extremely sweet or extremely like that milky vanilla kind of flavor. I think the word cream is getting to these craft brewers' brains a little bit, trying to do their own thing a little bit. But that's exactly what this is. There's lots of toffee. It's kind of like a drier, if that makes any sense. It's not really drier, but it's reminding me of like an English bitter with the toffee and like a little bit of like the apricot kind of notes to it. That woody kind of note is in there. There's definitely some kind of maybe almonds. I don't know. There's some kind of maybe cash, kind of like a finish on that one. I'd say it's semi-sweet. It's crisp clean for the most part, but semi-sweet. Ultra refreshing for what it is. You're not tasting any of the alcohol. Yeah, it just reminds me of the caramel and toffee of like an English bitter, but with a little smaller of a mouthfeel in the body. I'd say the body is on the light side, but it definitely is medium. I found an article on a website called, maybe Beer Man's heard of this one, culturecheesemag.com. They talked about cheese pairings with cream ales, and one of the things that is cream ale can be confounding even to the most seasoned beer drinker. To start, it doesn't contain dairy, and while the beer is classified as an ale, it's cold fermented like a lager. All told, cream ale is both a category flaunting misfit and a rare creature in this country, an American original, and that's exactly what's going on this one. This one is an okay beer. It's got actually kind of like this weird, funky aftertaste. I don't know if it's the yeast or the water. I get it a lot with some Shoveltown beers. It kind of has a little gritty finish, to be completely honest, but doesn't last forever. I guess before I shut up here, I just don't associate this. It's an okay beer. I don't associate this with like what you're drinking there, Whiskey Scout. That's what I think of as a cream ale. Kind of a polarizing beer in its style, but it's okay to drink. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The lawnmower beer.
Is that more of like a? Would you consider that a specialty, being that it's?
Yeah, it reminds me nothing of a cream ale. Yeah.
Well, how much, Thomas? How much?
That was $16.99 for the 4-pack, and I already knew going into it that this was going to be my thought on that beer. But I wanted to bring something way different than Genesee tonight, so there you go.
$4.99.
Yeah, I can get that for between $12 and $13.99 for a 30-pack.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Well, we're gonna go over to Nina and see the beer that she brought, the cream ale.
Yeah, I found myself a cream ale. I was getting bummed out because I had to buy a 30 pack of Genesee if I wanted it also.
Yeah.
But I found out of Westerly, Rhode Island. I don't know if you can see it here.
Gray Sale. All right.
Gray Sale Brewing Company out of Rhode Island, Westerly, Rhode Island, which I've mentioned in the past. I don't know if I mentioned specifically, but in 1970s or 80s, Playboy magazine did a study on the best water available in the United States, and they ended up going for Westerly, Rhode Island as the winner.
Okay. So, right on the border of Connecticut for anybody that doesn't know.
They have a nice glacial water there.
Yeah.
They've been kind of doing some quarry work over there also, which might have polluted it a little bit, but
nice beaches.
Yeah. So here it is.
Way to go, Rhode
It's
Island.
an actual cream ale. They call it a cream ale. They're saying it's perfect for yard work, beach nights, baseball games, and shotgunning. So
Yes.
I'm not about to shotgun one.
Oh, come on.
It's 4.7% alcohol, so it's like up there with like your Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's a sessionable beer. Has a nice smell to it, very neutral, very creamy, to be honest. I smell cream with this. I don't know how I would call it cream, but kind of like one of those canned creamers that you get like in the Vietnamese coffees, those little sweetened condensed milk. It obviously doesn't have any cream in it.
That's weird.
But, you know, it kind of has almost a chowdery smell to it. Not like a clam chowder, but like a corn chowder, if you will.
Great.
Yeah, it's got quite the simple one note kind of a smell, very creamy. It's got that mouthfeel, the high body mouthfeel, a little sweet present on the tip of your tongue. But this sucker has hops out the wazoo. Well, not so much out the wazoo in taste, but she's got Sterling hops and Saz hops out of the Czech Republic. I don't know what they have going for yeast. The yeast seems to be taking a back seat to the hop on this. I don't know how they get all that corn into this beer, but you feel the corn almost as if you're eating some kind of fructose, corn syrup, dextrose sort of, like a candy kind of thing, but not in like in an inauthentic way. There is decent corn syrup out there. I'm not going to say that it's sweet like an agave kind of extract or anything, but it has a really balanced taste. It has a lagery kind of taste, but the body is so much heavier. This glass says cream stout on the side of it, so lots of things have have this body. But yeah, it's got almost like a Coors Light kind of lager note to it as well. So yeah, it's like a heavy-bodied lager. I'm not going to compare this to like a Molson Golden because it's a lot more refreshing than a Molson Golden in my opinion. It's got like a crisp finish to it that doesn't stick around, but neither does Molson Golden really. That's the only other thing I can really compare it to. This is a golden cream ale, I guess they called it. Yeah, it's not bad. The hops are very managed. I kept thinking of like a pyramid when I was drinking this. It's like a complete breakfast in terms of, you know, being a really well designed product. You don't go, wow, look at the hops, wow, the mouthfeel, wow, the corn or something, sweetness. You're very tightly all together, and I gotta say this is a good one. I've been kind of incorporating it in my weekly drinking. You can swap from Kolsch to this pretty easy. You can enjoy one of these just at any point while you're drinking. You know, your average lagers, your Narragansett can switch with this. Budweiser can kind of involve with this. I would like to try this on draft, but yeah, it wasn't cheap for this 6-pack of cans. I want to say it was probably just south of $10. So you know, I like to support my local breweries every once in a while when they have something that I'm interested in. So I figure no harm in giving it a shot. Yeah, I would recommend this beer. I'm going to probably have to think on this one a little longer to form a real opinion on it, but it's a totally consumable beer. I could see this being sessionable. You could order more than one and still be cool, be happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll give you some extra time to think on that. I'll do my BuMpY-ism here, and if you order a cream ale on draft, they call it a dream.
A dream? Okay.
God. Genesee on cream ale on draft would be a dream right there. I've never seen that in my life. Well, except for going to the brewery, then that was pretty cool.
So I think I can hit this one button. I don't have to even hit that. Let's see what this does.
There's a floral hop to this. I don't know if that's Stads or the Czech hops are usually kind of almost like a sour or like a lemony kind of thing that I get from them. But maybe it's this Sterling hop. They're calling them noble hops. This arrangement of them.
Gotcha.
I think some noble hops can definitely give off a floral note. Some are more earthy and spicy.
It's a definite flower forward taste to this one. It's not really a waxy stab you in the palate bitterness kind of a note. It's very nice and pleasant, soft, perfumey.
Yeah.
I am gonna see what this button does when I hit it. Good, it does bring me up. So the beer that I'm bringing is from Litherman's Limited. They're out of Concord, New Hampshire. This one's called Crisped Cream Ale. Comes in at 5.6% ABV. As you can see, it's got the Rice Krispie Boys there, and it was a Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And Litherman's always does stuff with music, so I don't know if it's Beastie Boys or who they're trying to mimic there, but it says Crisp Cream Ale beer for breakfast. No beer from breakfast. Necessity being the mother of invention, we used crisp rice in this German noble hopped spin on an American cream ale. Light and refreshing. Calm down, Big Three. 2, hop forward and unique. It says it's fresh like a box of crisp cream ales. Word. Let's set that. All right, let's go ahead and pour this in the glass. start strong, and then remember that this thing builds a head, so it should slow down. So yes, it has that tight white bubbled head. Mine's kind of got a light gold coloration to it, very, very clear. Some maybe carbonation bubbles. No, can't see them really. They're there. Little bubbles here and there popping up. The aromas on this. First off, I'm met with a little bit of a cracker. Light, like white bread. And there is a little bit of a fruity note or floral note in the aroma. All right. Smells okay. Let's go ahead for the first swig. Cheers.
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 Cheers, BuMpY.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. So yeah, it's got the malt forward at first, kind of a little bit light bread, very, very light bread, to more on the cracker side of the malt flavors. Now they are using like a Rice Krispie type cereal in this. I'm not sure if they use that instead of using like a flaked corn maize, or flaked maize, but can't really taste like anything. Super Rice Krispie, I don't know. Maybe the crackery maltiness. I guess those are kind of Rice Krispies. Kind of have a little bit of a rice flavor to them, right? But
They're baked, not fried.
right. But you can, kind of think of that as like kind of almost like a cracker type. It's very, very light flavored malt, maltiness. The hops. I'm gonna have to go kind of with like what Nina said. The hops are kind of coming off with a very, very light type floral note to it. Smelled a little bit more fruity in the aroma. It's not fruity in the flavor. It's more of like a floralness. There is a slight bitterness to this one. I don't know what the IBUs are on it. Sure, they don't mention it. They don't. I'd have to look it up somewhere, but I'm not going to. But yeah, there is a slight lingering bitterness. And the body on it, it's light, it's crisp, and it kind of does the drying palate thing. So
Yeah.
want to keep going back for more. So yeah, much like most have said, it's something you can drink right alongside, or it reminds them of a lager. There's nothing off-putting about it. There's nothing too spectacular about it, but something you can definitely drink, especially in the hot days. It's nice, and you don't have to think too hard about it either. That's the other thing. It's easy on the brain. It's easy on the palate. And
Easy on the brain, not the wallet.
Simple beer.
Yeah, they're a craft beer for even it sounds like the Genesee wasn't super cheap either. Or actually, you got a good deal on yours, didn't you, Whiskey? But
It was $4.99 for the 6-pack.
That's fine.
Not so
That's
bad.
$1 more than I would pay. That's
Jeez,
not bad.
that's really cheap.
Yeah,
we
well,
get,
it goes a little bit further to your area, the distribution. So maybe cost is involved in that.
we get the Genesee Cream Ale 30 packs when we did get them around here, right around $13.12.
yeah,
That's the best deal in beer I know of. That is the cheap beer of choice I tell people about all day long. It's that one. Yep.
the cream ale. I always have the white can.
Can't beat that thing. The first time I ever drank that beer, Genesee beer, I bought somebody. I was turned 21. Somebody said, "Just buy beer. Just buy anything." I'm like, "What'd you buy?" Something. It's called Ganese. It was on the floor. I just went and bought it. Ganese. Oh, you mean Genesee? That stuff. So I'm like, I don't know what this is. My introduction to Genesee.
The cool thing about like Genesee is they or Denise or Jenny, go with Jenny, that works.
Jenny Crew.
The
Genesee.
they make a lot of like brews for different like stores and stuff as well. Like you find some of those like kind of like off brands. Like you think that they're like a craft brewery or something, but they're not. They're just brewed for the store.
Dundee Honey Brown.
Yep, exactly. Yep, the Dundees.
Yeah, the Honey Brown.
They did stuff for Walmart's. The when the cats go out to play or whatever one that was.
They brew Narragansett.
I haven't seen any.
Narragansett makers.
What was Ronald Sutton trying to tell Ronald J. Terrio that beer was called Genesee and that J was wrong? It's pronounced Genesee.
Genissimo.
You don't know what you're talking about, Jim.
They also they make a heavy ale called 12 Horse Ale. That's very.
I had
I've
that one.
heard of that.
That's all right. Yeah, not bad.
And we gotta say hashtag 7.5.
For play.
Point of view, it looks like
Hashtag.
Genesee to me. So I stuck with Genesee. Since we're going back around here, you guys made a lot of good comments there, and I do notice. Again, it could be suggestion, but there is kind of a corn. As it warms up a little bit, you get kind of a corn note, a slight corn note or grain note, but it is kind of on that corn flavor side a little bit, and I kind of get that. Other than that, nothing really changes. It's very drinkable, very sessionable. I like them. I mean, BuMpY said it best. You don't have to think about it. You just drink it. And so on a cold day, if you get them cold enough, and you have a 30-pack in a cold cooler. I've always enjoyed them. I enjoy it more than I do most lagers per se. So I'm going to give it score-wise, and I'll keep it within respect to the style. I'm going to give it a 90.
Yeah.
It's good. There's nothing real wrong with it. I mean, I think it's just a solid beer. So
Nice.
Well, cool. So I've got some just kind of written some notes down so I don't forget, but I did kind of get, people, you guys talk, you say things, and then, like you said, BuMpY, it kind of makes you think about what you're tasting. You do get kind of the floral, citrus, lemon like hoppiness out of this, but it's very, very, very slim to none. But it's definitely there, but that bitterness and that dryness really takes effect very quick. It seems to all be within style. I don't think they overdid it too much, although it is at the higher range. It's not overdone, and it's very tasty. It's something that's definitely thirst quenching and something I'd like to have cold as all hell, 40, 45 degrees. Don't let that get warm. It did have a golden color after, like a golden, and the clarity after it was poured and settled was very brilliant, actually, like I first said. I want to say per style and even per my own, wanting to drink this, that, my desire for it, I'll give this a 96 out of 100. So it really wasn't bad. It was really good.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Beer man.
cheers.
I gotta contradict you though. I think these are pretty good when they warm up. They're not so bad. I fell asleep the other night, woke up at 11 o'clock after falling asleep at 9, and had a half of a cream ale sitting there. I slurped that sucker down, no waste at all, and I thought it was perfectly fine.
Maybe it's the hybridness of it or something.
The hibernation? Is that what you're talking about?
We ferment at room temperature. Damn.
Hibernation of it.
Yeah, hibernation. I can pick right back up where I left off. My friend always said,
it's not like Heineken. When you let a Heineken sit, it turns into Ultra Skunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the smell. BuMpY was saying, BuMpY mentioned something about the smell a minute ago, there being some fruity note. And I took a big sniff of mine and I was like, holy moly, it's there. And I was thinking, where have I smelled that smell before? Maybe on
the smell that's around you?
Ooh, that's man.
I think Rolling Rock has that same kind of fruit note.
Okay. Yeah.
I kept trying to taste and taste
Yeah.
and taste,
I can
and I
see some
could not.
similarities with Genesee and Rolling Rock, I guess, and its aroma there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can go with
smell
that too.
there. Tasted it.
Oh.
Green cans matter, I guess.
They say they're close to a lager, so American lager, freaking cream ale. There you go.
Lager.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the 6-point Sweet Action a 91.
Woo!
So I think it's really good. It's just I still have to classify it as a hybrid though, because it has some cream ale elements in it, but it seems to be a little bit too hoppy to be a true cream ale.
Is it grainy enough to remind you of a cream ale, or not really?
But it's not.
Hmm.
I would say the grain part of it is background more than it's the direct thing you're getting. You're getting it though; it's there. There are hops in here, but I guess there's hops in all beers. But I mean, it's hoppy. Most of the cream ales that people have said so far have not been hoppy.
No,
You're getting floral hops. These are not floral hops I'm getting. They're pale ale hops.
Of course. Yeah.
I don't know which ones they are. They don't tell you on the side of the. I didn't research. It doesn't tell you on the can which hops they use in this. But I guess the 91 is on it as a beer. I think it's an A- beer.
Not a good cream ale representation. What would you say?
It has maybe the creaminess and a little bit of the cereal in it, but that wouldn't be its. But 6-point does that stuff. They claim, we're into science and we're into, we can check
it off in our book that we made a cream ale finally. All right, on to other things.
We go on charts to make things interesting so people like us, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a beaker, so I'm into science too.
I only believe in science.
I kind of feel that this Shoveltown Brewery Madagascar Vanilla Cream Ale, the way that we ended on the Sweet Action with 6-point is pretty.
Oh, Jacob, I didn't read that fully.
There's nothing in the world that would make me drink this beer and go, pardon my French, and go, shit, this is a cream ale. Absolutely nothing. Not one bit. Maybe it does have a grainy complexion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a cream ale. And to me, and this is not a lawnmower beer. It's a little bit too sweet for me to find it really quenching or quaffable. And I'm noticing that the grainy flavor and the sweetness, probably from the vanilla, is kind of fighting for dominance. It doesn't really know which way it really wants to go. If it wanted to really just go sweet, they should have just gone that way. Or if they really wanted some more grains to display the fact that they're still trying to brew a cream ale, they kind of should have done that. And a lot of the Shoveltown beers, some of them that I've had have had either a really weird, I don't know if it's the mineral composition of water or the yeast. They kind of have this really weird, gritty aftertaste to it. So to be nice to the beer, I guess I will give it a 73 out of 100. I think it's way too expensive for what it is. And if you do get around to trying Shoveltown, buy other beers from them. They are way better. And they make a bourbon version of this too. That's pretty much the same. So
73. Yeah. Eric, on your scale, 73 is a straight C or a C minus?
I'm going to give that, straight the low end of a C.
Okay. If you want to make that beer taste better to you, then drink one of these right before.
Hey, I can get that, man.
My wife, when I told my wife, I'm like, hey, guess what? Because we went searching. Mostly me, I went to like 12 different stores, couldn't find it. And then my wife, I'm like, she goes, did you check that other store that's up there? I'm like, I'm not driving anymore. Like, I've been driving around for 2.5 hours to find this old Milwaukee. So she went there and she couldn't find it either. But I told her this week, I'm like, guess what's at Sully's? Old Milwaukee. So she was going to be running there. And she's like, you want me to get you? I'm like, yeah, give me some old Milwaukee. She goes, that's so embarrassing.
Oh
Well, I'm pretty happy with this beer. I would have to rate mine fairly high. I'm going to go with a 92 for this one. It's a high end beer. They did a great job. I guess they got some gold medals on this one. I'm not sure what competition they were in. I was just holding it up to the mirror. I don't have much left, or the camera here. It's really clear, and it's like a nice lager. The extra bit of body is, I don't know if you want to call it a bonus or not. I guess it depends on what you're into. I'm not going to knock it. I think in the style, this is pretty high ranking beer. I can't find any flaws with this one. Like Michael Kormaroff said, there's a bit of that hop action that is a little more diverse than just a floral in your nose smell. I guess the Noble Saz hops or whatever they're using are very high end. There's an earthiness to it that's it's just there. It's not offensive. It's just an extra bonus. That's a bonus that is totally, like a nuance that I picked up from it. This is the 5th one out of my 6-pack. I got one more to go. So these obviously aren't hard to crush.
Yeah.
92. I would even, if I really could sit down with some other cream ales and wanted to rate the style, I could see this really giving the others a run for their money.
Yep.
It's a good beer.
Waiting for the umami.
It's got it.
It's got the umami.
Ooh,
It's got the garlic and the onions.
that's terrible.
Oh.
No problem. Bottoms up on this one.
Well, I would say that I was going to give mine a fairly high score, but Beer Man, like, totally. I'm not going that high with this.
I went up to. That's all right.
The Lithium's limited. I mean, I drank a ton of Jenny Cream, and it's okay, and I'm not one of those ones that's gonna like base the beer like, oh, it's too expensive, so I'm gonna give it a low score. If it's good, it's good. If it's cheap and it's good, that's great because I saved money. If it's cheap and it tastes like crap, I'm not gonna give it a better score just because it's cheap. So.
Right.
I mean, but the Jenny's okay, it's right up there with the most of the American adjunct lagers that you're gonna pick up. It's got a little bit more of a fruity note to me and stuff like that. So for me to base mine kind of off of what I know, which is like the Jenny, the Lithium's Limited Crisp Cream, I think it has a little bit better flavor to it. Not much. It still stays within the cream ale type flavor that I kind of know, but it has less faults, I guess, versus really better flavor. It just has less bad flavor, which I kind of get some weird Jenny type notes or something out of the Jenny Cream Ale from what I can remember having.
I didn't get that.
And it's I'm gonna give this a 93 out of 100.
That's a good one.
Nice.
It's a good recommendation.
Yeah.
Good combination.
So I don't feel so bad. That's not bad. That's 3 off from what I said, so I don't feel so bad. I'm sticking with my score. No, that's good. Nice. Cool.
CBP says, cheers, everybody. Cheers to the craft beer pours.
Cheers.
Brandon?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers to
Cheers
everyone.
to that peppery Mad
Shout out to Hams.
The best. There's nothing, we were just describing a minute ago, a little bit of that metallic note. It's perfect in that beer. It's got it all. If anyone hasn't tried Ham's beer, I suggest going to your local distributor and picking up a 24 or 30 pack and keeping that sucker in rotation. I gotta do my deed and go pick up a case of that this week.
Yeah, that's in Northwest, isn't that? That's from my area.
Yeah, but it's great. It's in national distribution apparently right now, and if you like it, you got to buy it or it's gone.
I'm going to say the last time I had a Hams was probably early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
They're different now.
Long time.
They're a Miller Coors product. I guess they were acquired recently.
Yeah.
So they've changed their distribution.
I have to say, Paul, Those peppers that I've eaten, they came back to bite me in the ass today.
I'm not having issues. I don't know. I can't speak. I don't have issues.
I don't even want to know.
I have a compromised immune system. It's called
Well, I've
wussy
never had
boy.
issues with hot food. Drink too much iced coffee. Now we're talking.
Okay.
Oh, I
Yeah,
gotta pour some old Milwaukee.
Water
Eat
plus
enough-
caffeine. Yikes.
Eat enough beer, cheese, and French fries, and anybody will have problems.
They used to have
Oh,
crusty beer
yeah,
gut,
my
and then
brain does
goes to
not
the
want to
rest,
know.
and it turns into
No.
nothing but mush. So and burn. Yeah, you gotta watch those peppers for fuck's sake.
As far as Malty Monday for next week, what
Yeah.
do you think you're going to put in as far as the potential choices?
We got to think about
Well, I don't pick them myself. I
Yeah,
usually
stick
throw in
around.
whatever one you want. So let's throw quads in there again.
Want to try the quad again? It did well.
Do you want to just stay here and create
Let's
the
do it.
poll?
Come on.
If you guys want to just stay on, create the poll here. It's only 51 minutes in, so we got some time.
Anybody in the chat have an idea
Yeah.
what they would like to see us do? Maybe.
I still have my quad. I'm not sure how long it's going to age, but I still have it. So we can throw the quad in there if you want.
What are some
Yeah.
other potential
I
choices?
still got a double hanging around.
I drank mine the other day.
Anything anybody else wants to throw in? What do you guys think? I mean, you can't do. I can read off the list of things we can't do. If that will help out.
Well, we have all the ones that I failed on before. Black IPA, which came in tied but lost. What were the other things? How about a brown ale? Have you done brown ales before?
I could get down to that.
No, brown ales have been on there. We haven't done them yet.
I got a brown.
Ability.
So we can do brown ales.
Hey,
do
Cook's
brown?
Brewing wants us to do a pastry ale. What the?
Pastry, and there's pastry stouts going around, especially out of Massachusetts. All those, particularly there's a cannoli stout out of Harpoon
Oh,
that
what?
people have been talking about.
Never seen that.
I can't find any of the Harpoon
Well,
beers around.
there's one. Chocolate macaron.
San Diego that Robert has.
Strawberry. Did we try to do a Czech Pilsner last week? Do we want to try to put that back in the mold?
I would like to see that. There's some
Okay.
great ones out of Connecticut. And
Yeah.
I am going to have to really be a stickler here and push for the American Light Lager.
Lager again.
Ah.
LU.
I'm throw that one in there. Eventually, it's going to happen. It might be a year from now, but eventually it will happen.
I'm thinking the summer heat.
Because the
So
bumpy poll will be like two choices. It will be American Light Lager and American Adjunct Lager. It's like,
American Light Lager, you just might as well follow Brewery Bush Light. Then we can do
oh wait, we
Bud
can do the non-alcoholics.
Light.
we can do non-alcoholic beers one night if you
seltzer.
want to.
Come on.
Oh, duels.
No.
He says that.
There's a Bush non-alcoholic.
Drink as many of those as you want.
That.
See who can drink the most NA beers. That'd be great.
He ain't
I guess
gonna come with that.
There's a big difference between low alcohol.
I can find an ice box now. They have them down the street. What the hell?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't.
Or in the
Icebox,
summertime.
That's
What
the
about
crazy thing.
Ellis, have we done Ellis?
I went
Oh,
and
I should
asked
be writing
about
these
ice
down.
box. When I was trying to get an ice box for Bumpy, I went into several stores and asked about an ice box. One of the stores I went in last week, I looked down on the bottom shelf. They purchased an ice box 6-pack just because I mentioned it. What a problem that's their
Yeah. Damn.
They do, dude. You mention them, they order them, and then they expect you to come back and buy more. Dude, it was just for a
All right.
panel, homie.
Now I need some specifics though. If we do this, okay, what I got written down: quadruple,
Mhm.
Yeah.
light American lager,
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank
Okay. Czech's Pilsner,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good.
and brown ale. But we need to be. Is it going to be an English brown or American brown?
It should be in English, I guess,
I
right?
would like to see American brown ale if possible, but I've already got my shit.
Too, but
All right.
American.
American brown?
Yeah.
Is
Sure.
that a good four?
that sounds good to me.
That sounds good. Those four.
I am Camaro, people.
I have all four. So I guess I can't get closed out, which is a good thing.
Cool.
Damn sure.
So I'm making this, right? Is that
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
So,
All right.
so I've got quadrupel, I've got quad, I've got light American lager, I've got Czech Pilsner, and I've got American brown ale.
Yeah.
All right.
You got it, beer man.
Okay.
Check.
Oh,
Okay.
Eclipse wants us to do a Roush beer.
Oh, wow.
Roush
Hey, I
beer.
went.
Smoked beer.
We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll put that on there sometime. Not this one. We've already created it, but I'll get on there.
That's
Oh,
hard.
Roush,
I
that's a new one on me.
I went
Okay.
looking for BuMpY-ish, the Irish BuMpY-ish beer.
I haven't seen that in years anywhere.
That's a problem. I guess they don't do it anymore. I don't know
I
if
don't
it's
even
not
know.
made or if they're not importing it.
The National Bohemian Beer, the Bohemian Lager.
No, the BuMpY-ish, it's an Irish stout, I believe. It's kind of it's not a stout. It's
Well,
a
no,
darker
I'm saying what Kevin Johnston's.
I'm just chatting.
Get the
What's
National
your
Bohemian beer.
title? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Do they?
What's your title for this again? As far as what you want to ask the community and all that.
Still being made.
Malty Monday next week, which is the 15th. Yeah,
Yeah, the Malty Monday poll for June 15th.
2020. Yeah.
Make your voices heard.
Angelic Mountain Brown qualifies as an American brown ale. All right.
Angelic?
There you go.
I used to get that Frangelico liquor in the Mrs. Butterworth looking bottle.
And then if we do specialty browns, you can bring that again because it'd be a specialty too because
I
it's
know
barrel
exactly
aged.
what you're talking about. It's not bad stuff.
It's not. There's nothing wrong with it.
I guess BuMpY-ish, they're not. They say it on their website. At present, we do not export to countries outside of Ireland. I don't know when they published that, but this website is Heineken International copyright 2020.
Huh,
All right,
interesting.
must have lost out. I remember shortly after I turned 21, I bought BuMpY-ish and I bought Guinness and I bought Murphy's and went side by side with them all. And I thought Guinness didn't have quite the flavor as BuMpY-ish or the Murphy's.
Yeah, Murphy's. I don't know if that has the flavor of Guinness though. That it has like a lesser.
It's not quite as bitter, but it definitely has more like of a maltier action going on if that's what you're wanting out of stout.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't know why they're not exporting, but who knows?
I had some greasy food the other night, and I was really happy that I had a couple of those Murphy's. What were we drinking a week or so ago? The Smithwick's that I had, the red ale. Those are a good brew. There's nothing wrong with that beer. It's not a stout at all by any means. It's a nice, refreshing ale. Goes great with fried, greasy food.
The report on the National Bohemian is it's still made by Pabst since 1885.
Pabst owns the rights to make Stroh's beer also, but apparently that's like
they do a lot of acquiring of beer brands.
Beer Advocate gives it a 66 and says it's.
Beer Advocate just doesn't like anything that's got corn and
I guess it's definitely an adjunct
cereal
lager,
grains in it.
which I can't say that I personally hit very often, but it's not like I've never tasted
The
it.
style of beer, they got to be a little more respectful to the style. But we can go on and on if we want to do a topic called beers that Beer Advocate hates. We could all find one pretty easily at our local gas station, I bet.
Right.
I just screwed up, dude.
Yeah, you gotta go by the styles if you're reviewing the beers. I mean, unless you don't want to review those beers just because you're like, I only drink New England IPAs.
Hey, put it into some context.
Well, then only review New England IPAs because if you absolutely hate every other style, you're not going to say much good about it.
Jesse, you could do adjunct lagers, and it would cover a lot of those beers that are poor by Beer Advocate.
Yeah.
One day we definitely.
Plenty of them.
One day we'll get to it. I know we will have to do that.
I want to make an adjunct IPA.
Adjunct IPA.
What would you put in it? Which adjunct?
I think I'd use the flake maize. I like the corniness.
Crackling
I'm with
open.
you.
There you go.
Support that.
Interesting.
Man, I screwed up, dude. Sorry.
I know how to make butter in beer
What
now.
did you
So.
do?
I couldn't find how to get the link or anything, so I screwed up. So quadrupel American light Lager, American Brown Ale, and what was the other one?
Czech Pilsner.
Czech
Yeah.
Pilsner,
Czech,
yes.
that's right. Czech Pilsner. Okay.
Yeah, BuMpY. I ended up getting a sniff of butter off of my my cream ale toward the
That's
end.
probably not. So that's probably not wrong. Yeah, I guess I am
It's
getting.
a so it's a fermentation issue.
Damn it.
It's dicetyl, diacetyl, however it's pronounced, but that's what it is. Diacetyl. It's so it's a byproduct. It's a byproduct naturally occurs in all fermentation, but the yeast usually goes through afterwards. After it pisses and craps and all your beautiful beer, it goes through and cleans up its mess that it made. But you have to leave it long enough. Plus, it has to have the right temperatures to do so. So usually, like hot fermentation, like really, really warm fermentations will kind of create that more because the yeast gets tired out real quick and just goes to nap. It starts throwing up its Z's. So normally, like to get at it, to do a diacetyl rest, what you do is you ferment it at the regular fermentation temperatures, and then once it's done fermenting, and a few days before you cold crash it to kind of clear it out and everything, you would bump up the temperature like 2 to 4 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right.
And that will kind of get the yeast going a little bit more because it's now warmer. So they'll kind of wake up a little bit and go and clean up any of the mess they made. But yeah, my Kobe 19 is total butterbeer because I fermented it out of my fermentation chamber at like 80 degrees. So it
Harry Potter.
it's butter, straight up butter.
Bada bing, bada boom. Dad. Sorry.
Harmless. Good one.
Oh, Hamish Murphy's. Oh, Eclipse. He's throwing everything. Scottish Shilling. Smash.
No, we did Scotch.
Saison. Black IPA.
Didn't we do English barley one already? We did English barley one already.
Yes, we've done English barley one.
And Saison.
My sister had a beer the other day. She bought it because she read the label. It said Pilsner, and then she was drinking it later, and she was reading the label, and it said lager. And she'd like, I don't know, it has both on it. And it says Pilsner on one side, and you flip it around, it says lager on the other. It was this zero gravity, or what was it called? A Green State lager, zero gravity. And she was asking me, what is the difference between a lager and a Pilsner? Maybe there's a BuMpY-ism you could share to help with that predicament or that perplexing issue she faced.
Pilsners were created in the town of Pilsen. That's the biggest difference. The water profile, because it was created in a certain town,
different location.
So they're going to have a different water profile. Maybe I think they're usually kind of a little bit more on the bitter side than a typical lager.
All right. So it's not the lagering stage that would make the difference.
But that would be like saying stout on one side and then ale on the other side of the can. They're talking about that strain of yeast that's being brewed.
Yeah.
In that.
I'm trying to pull up their website.
Yeah, I mean, all Pilsners are lagers, but not all lagers are Pilsners.
So they're calling it a crisp.
There's that.
A crisp.
Yeah,
easy.
that's right.
Well, then again, Miller Lite, their whole lifetime has been trying to call their beer a light Pilsner.
Don't you be saying
I don't know about that. It's an okay beer. It is. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the better ones, but Pilsner? I don't know. Does it remind me of Pilsner or Kel? Not the least.
No, it doesn't have the bitterness. So anyway, Green State Lager, they're calling themselves a crisp, easy-drinking Pilsner beer. Noble hop, a perfect balance with only the finest Pilsner malt, providing a clean and satisfying brew, welcoming as the Green State staff itself. Or Green State itself. Where is the Green
State staph infection itself?
Nobody wants that. Gangrenous.
Everybody from Vermont are cool people. They make grass, but they're really fun. And in Oregon, they're really fun too, right?
Similar to Bohemian or Czech Pilsner. Huh. I don't know. I said it was the cold lagering that made the difference. I tried to make it sound like I knew what I was talking about.
Sounds intelligent. Go.
Eclipse. Don't forget the Dunkelbach.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm like, pay attention. Oh, Weizenbach, Russian Imperial. Russian Imperial. We must have done that, right?
We've done Imperial Stout,
We've
and we've done barrel aged stouts.
and if you don't get enough
Scottish.
stouts
I like
here,
Scottish.
go to Sunday morning
Like
with
an 80 or a 90 shilling Scottish would be nice or something like that. The one what's the one I like? Fuck. They're from Colorado, man.
we did
I know they make a really good 90 shilling Scottish or 80 shilling, something like that. It's really good. I like those.
Have we done?
I think we're done. We got the 4. Bearman, were you able to create that poll?
Yeah, I put it up, but it won't let me like get an actual link. It just like goes to my community. I don't know what YouTube did now.
Well, we got the beers down anyways. We'll work on the poll.
I shared it on my
We'll put some
community.
grease on the pole so nobody can climb it.
Yeah, that's all we need is that community
Oh
link.
my god.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign this one off. So I'm gonna go through my thank you to the chat for coming in. Thank you for the non-chat viewers that may have been there. Appreciate you watching. I hope you guys all drank along. I hope you could find yourself a cream ale. Amazingly tonight, everybody had a different beer, different cream ale. It's like, how often does that happen? When it's like, oh, cream ale, you think, oh, the only thing out there is Genesee.
Good news.
Right.
But it's like, wow, there's a lot of cream ales out there actually. So it's a style that was once defunct that came back, and
It's still kind of
and the crafty brewers are keeping it alive and going. So
they're making it creamy by accident.
Yep, very good. But so thank you to the chat and everything, for showing up and being here, because you guys are what help with the show to continue on as well, because with nobody watching, who's going to want to watch this?
Oh, we're all
No
on
one.
here.
So I want to also thank my panel tonight. Whiskey Scout,
I'll see you soon.
Bearman,
All right,
Michael Komaroff. Cheers. Thank you for being here. Thomas Metal 75 and Nina Yo 401.
Yeah.
Having me. Love being here.
And so we are going to create a poll. We've got the poll like what we want in it. We just got to get the poll built, and we'll get that out there. It will be in the various hangout groups that I am associated with, and if you're not in one of those groups, then it will be in the description of this video once it goes up. And maybe give it a day or so. So I'd say just give it a day or so, and then you'll be able to look and vote. Okay. But don't give it a day or so to Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. because that's when the polling comes down. So then you'd be too late. So if you do want to vote on it, there's a couple different places that the poll will be there for you guys to vote, for anybody to vote. Everybody's more than welcome to come up on panel as long as they're bringing the style of beer, and they are cooperating with being a decent human being. We're here to talk about the beer and stuff like that. We're not here to have fights with each other or talk about anything else like political and stuff like that. Let's just keep it to the beer and beer topics, and you're good. So it's basically it. If you don't want to join the panel but you still want to pick up the beer, please do drink it in my chat. You can talk about the beer as well as when you're listening to everybody talk about what they're picking up out of their beers, out of whatever style it is that we're doing that night on Malty Monday. Malty Mondays are at 8 p.m. every Monday. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time every Monday. So that's it, guys. Cheers. Thank you all for being here. Great show tonight. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm going out with the old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee.
Oh.